The night of my sister's engagement was supposed to be a happy one. The house was glowing with lights, laughter, and music. Everyone looked perfect, polished, proud, except me. I stood near the corner, holding a glass of water, watching my parents beam at my sister like she'd just won a Lifetime Achievement Award. She was always their pride. And me? I was just the forgotten son. I'd been struggling with my startup for months, barely breaking even, but I never told anyone how hard I was working. I didn't want pity. I wanted quiet progress. But my family never saw effort, they only saw results. When it was time for speeches, my father clinked his glass and smiled wide. "We're so proud of you, sweetheart," he said, patting my sister's shoulder. Then his tone changed. "You've always made the right choices, unlike some people who still don't know what responsibility means." The guests laughed softly. My heart dropped. I knew exactly who he meant. Mom joined in, adding with that fake laugh she used when she wanted to humiliate me without sounding cruel. "Well, not everyone can be successful. Some of us just take longer to figure life out." I stared down at my glass, pretending not to care, but inside I was burning. My sister's fiancé, Daniel, looked uncomfortable. I could tell he didn't like it, but he stayed quiet as my parents went on, talking about how proud they were to have a daughter with a future and how some people should learn from her. Every word cut deeper. They didn't just embarrass me, they erased me. To them, I was a disappointment standing in the shadow of perfection. After the toasts, I stepped outside to get air. The night was cold, the laughter still echoing behind me. I thought about leaving, about disappearing completely, but before I could, the door opened. It was Daniel. He looked at me for a moment, then said quietly, "You didn't deserve that. None of it." I didn't answer. My pride wouldn't let me. But something in his voice made me look up. His expression wasn't pity, it was respect. Like he knew something my parents didn't. He smiled faintly and added, "You might want to stay a little longer. Tonight's not over yet." Then he walked back inside, leaving me confused and curious. I had no idea that before the night ended, the same parents who called me a failure would be forced to swallow every single word. I stood outside for a while, trying to make sense of what Daniel had said. "Tonight's not over yet." His tone carried a quiet confidence, almost like he knew something I didn't. I straightened my jacket, took a slow breath, and walked back into the hall. The party was in full swing, guests laughing, champagne glasses clinking, my parents glowing with pride. My sister, Emily, looked radiant in her silver dress, holding Daniel's hand. I stayed near the back, unnoticed, invisible, just how my parents liked it. Then Daniel raised his glass. "If I could have everyone's attention," he said, smiling at Emily. "I want to say something about the woman I'm about to marry and her family." Everyone fell silent. My parents' faces lit up. They probably thought he was about to praise them, but the calm in his eyes told a different story. He started softly. "When I first met Emily's family, I was amazed by how proud they were of her. But over time, I noticed something strange. Every time her brother's name came up, the room went quiet." He glanced toward me. "And tonight, I finally saw why." The air shifted. My mom's smile froze. Dad frowned, his grip tightening around his glass. Daniel continued, voice steady. "You see, I've gotten to know her brother. He's one of the smartest, most hard-working people I've met. I've seen his work, his ideas, his drive. He built something from nothing without asking anyone for help. And yet, his own family treats him like a failure." A murmur ran through the room. My father's jaw clenched. "Daniel, I don't think." But Daniel cut him off, polite but firm. "With all due respect, sir, I'm speaking. Because success isn't just about money or titles, it's about resilience. It's about character. And your son has both in ways most people never will." The entire room turned toward me. I could feel my face heat up, not from embarrassment, but from shock. No one had ever stood up for me before. Daniel placed his glass down, You all should know something, he said, pulling his phone from his pocket. Last week, I invested in a small tech company. Its founder? Him. He pointed right at me. His platform has been quietly growing. It's already turning a profit. And if things continue, he'll probably be the most successful person in this room within a year. Gasps, whispering. My mother's hand flew to her mouth. My father blinked, speechless. Daniel wasn't done. You raised 2 children, but you only ever celebrated one. That's your mistake, not his. The room fell silent. You could hear the music fading in the background, like even the speakers knew this was a moment no one would forget. I didn't know what to do. Half of me wanted to disappear. The other half wanted to stand taller. Emily looked shocked but proud. For the first time, I saw guilt in her eyes, like she finally realized what it had been like growing up as the unwanted one. Dad cleared his throat. This isn't the time or place. Daniel smiled faintly. Maybe not. But sometimes truth doesn't wait for the right moment. He took Emily's hand. I love your daughter, sir, but I also believe in fairness. And tonight, everyone here should see who really deserves respect. People started clapping. Hesitant at first, then stronger. A few guests even came up to me saying things like, I had no idea, or good for you. It felt surreal. My father just stood there, eyes lowered. My mother turned away, pretending to fix her hair, but her face was pale. They looked smaller than I'd ever seen them, like the weight of their own arrogance finally hit them. After the toast, Daniel came over and handed me a business card. I wasn't joking, he said quietly. I want to partner with you. You've got something special. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. I could barely speak. Why would you do that? He smiled. Because I know what it's like to be the overlooked one, and because you deserve to win. As he walked away, my father approached me slowly. For the first time in my life, he didn't look angry, he looked ashamed. I didn't know, he said under his breath. You never told us. I met his eyes, calm and steady. He had no reply. That night, I didn't stay till the end. I slipped out quietly, the sound of the party fading behind me. But this time, I didn't leave feeling small. I left knowing that the truth had finally spoken for me, and this time it had a microphone. As I drove away under the glow of the city lights, I realized something simple but powerful. Sometimes, the best revenge doesn't come from shouting or proving them wrong. It comes when someone finally says out loud what you've known all along. You were never the failure. At the engagement, Daniel surprised everyone. He praised me, revealing he'd invested in my startup. Guests gasped, whispers spread, and my parents' smug expressions faltered. For the first time, the family saw my success and the respect I earned quietly. The overlooked son was finally noticed, and their judgment couldn't hide the truth anymore.